Hi, my name is Matt Kosterman. I'm a 56-year-old white guy living in Chicago, Illinois. For the first 50 plus years of my life, I didn't think I was allowed to be here. Not just here in Chicago, but here, on Earth, in a body. I suffered from depression for most of my life. I smoked my first joint at age 11 and had my first drink of Southern Comfort straight from the bottle at age 13. While the cannabis never really took hold as an addiction, I drank alcohol for the next 20 years, many times to excess. In 1998, I began psychotherapy, and in the year 2000, I started on antidepressants. I spent 12 years on them and 15 years in traditional talk therapy. Meanwhile, I built a successful business, became a father to 2 amazing girls, and rehabbed an old house in a nice suburb. I did all the things. In 2010, I went through divorce, foreclosure, and bankruptcy. Fun times. After much flailing about, I got my head on straight in 2015, only to begin experiencing severe chronic pelvic pain along with fibromyalgia. I spent nearly 3 years in the Western medical system trying desperately to heal. In 2018, out of money and out of patience, my healing journey really kicked into gear after my first magic mushroom trip. The years since have been an amazing and challenging ride. I've traversed the physical and not-so-physical worlds and been fortunate to work with many, many talented healers. As a result of all my efforts, I now find myself in a place of receiving, contentment, and prosperity, the likes of which had eluded me for most of my life. There's a man named Daryl Anka who channels a being called Bashar. Bashar describes the process of engaging with a healer, that of giving yourself what is essentially a permission slip to move towards wholeness, healing, and right relationship. This podcast is an effort to share some of what I've learned and introduce you to some of the people and ways that literally gave me what feels like my permission slip for existence. It's also an effort to continue to spread the word that the traditional Western medical system, while effective for a great many things, is not necessarily the be-all, end-all solution to every health problem, especially when the problem may be more spiritual than it is physical, as it was in my case. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoy it. Please like, subscribe, and do all the social media things that help spread the word. Share these links with people directly in your community. It is my sincere hope that you and others will benefit from my experiences. Hi, welcome back to the Permission Slip. This is Matt Kosterman. I'm here today with Karen Kubicko from the great city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Karen is a psychic intuitive, certified hypnotist, past life regressionist, hypnotherapist, a Reiki master, an instructor, an author, and a YouTube content creator. Karen, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate you having me on today in the Permission Slip.
Yeah, I'm excited to chat. You got a lot of stuff going on out there.
I do. It's fun.
It's amazing. It's super fun.
It's super fun. That's what life's about.
I know, but not for everybody always, right? That doesn't always start that way.
Yeah, true. Absolutely.
So how did you get into all this? Tell us a little bit about, let's start with growing up, you grew up, you said Catholic family, the programming from the big patriarchy.
Oh, yeah. We definitely were very involved in going to Catholic school, Catholic church every Sunday, all week long, that kind of thing until I was in high school. And, I know we chatted a little bit before, but it's funny because I never contemplated getting into past life regression work ever. I mean, it was not a topic of discussion. Being any kind of intuition type of feeling was never brought up. But interestingly, when I was able to, my parents allowed us to switch from the Catholic schooling to public school, but I was going into 11th grade at that point. I mean, so I had a long history of the Catholic schooling. But like the first week of school there, I remember walking. This is a very intensely vivid memory for no apparent reason. Of all the memories I could choose, I'm 11th grade, fresh in the public school, nervous, right? Didn't know exactly where all the rooms are. And it's a big school compared to the little one that I had come from. And there's like 600 kids just in my own 11th grade. It was a big school.
Yeah, and I went to one of those.
We're walking down the hallway. I'm walking down the hallway, and I see this woman talking to a friend of mine. And she's laughing. They're having a good time. She looks like a nice person. And all of a sudden, I heard in my head, "Oh, I hate her." And I'm like, "Oh, why would I think that?"
Wow.
And
intrusive thoughts.
Well, right. But the next thing I heard was, "Oh, you had a past life and she was mean to you." with her. I had a past life with her and she was mean to me. I'm like, oh, okay. And I just kept bebopping down the hallway.
Really?
Yeah, it was
And was she
totally out of context.
she was a teacher or in the administration, or was it another student? It was another
No, it was
student.
another student.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just
Oh,
another, I
interesting.
mean, yeah, how would I get that information? Where did that even come from? I never really figured it out, although I actually am hearing my spirit guides laugh now because, like, of course you were hearing us. Even back
Yeah.
then, I just didn't recognize it. And so it's funny that now I totally delved into all this understanding of you have so much more than this humanness, so much more than this lifetime. It's expansive beyond this life in other dimensions, in past lives, how connected we are to even our ancestral DNA connections. I mean, it's
Right.
it's vast,
Yeah.
vast
Unfathomable for the human brain.
for sure.
And I
Yeah,
think we think we have it figured out, and God laughs.
right, exactly. Because
Uh,
there's so much. It's just so
so
much.
much. Yeah, yeah. So you did Catholic school, then 2 years in public school,
hmm
and
And
then
normal
did you
life.
university? Did you go to
Oh
college
yeah.
after?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did college. Well, at the time it was journalism, but they changed it to mass communication. And
Right.
so
Right.
here we are
Here
on
we are.
social media,
Mass communicating.
mass communicating. I mean, I was so hopeful I could like write for a paper or but I ended
Wow.
up doing a lot of desktop publishing, marketing related stuff, which I really still like to do, and worked in corporate for a little while, all
Did
that
that? Yeah.
stuff. But when I had my second child, because you asked the question, what brought me to now?
Yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say. So you had sort of the 3D life, like
I
it was all
did
looking good and feeling good, and you were
normal.
generally content with it.
Sure. I mean, I
I mean,
never really felt like there was something missing. I mean, I definitely was excited to have the kids. I always had a vision of me having them, and so I looked forward to that for sure. And when my second child was born, things changed though,
yeah.
because at that moment, it was a sketchy situation. We both almost died, and they
Both of
had
you.
to, yeah, and we had emergency surgery. They were trying to get her to come out, and it wasn't happening. They lost her blood pressure and her heartbeat and all that kind of stuff, and they rushed us to the OR, and I have a beautiful scar from it, but it's really irrelevant because like we're both fine. We're
Yeah.
both alive. We made it through. However, not that long afterwards, I nursed my kids and I laid her down in the middle of the night and I fell asleep and I woke up again and looked over, and not far from where she was sleeping, someone was standing there holding her, and they felt very different than a human in a sense, where they were very illuminated. They were holding her real sweet, looking down, so loving.
Mm.
And I was like, did she wake up? No response, no one looking up at me. I'm like, what's that about? I looked over at their dad, who's still sleeping, looked back, gone. And I was like,
Gone.
what was that? Who was holding
Well,
my baby? And I was like freaking out, checking
did
on
you
her.
have it? Did you have a near death experience during the surgery? I mean, did
Well,
you
during
flatline?
that, no, yeah. Well, so my gynecologist never told me that, but
Okay.
on some level, I knew something happened. In fact, it's funny that you said, "Did I flatline?" Because I feel like you're picking that up intuitively because I got a message many years later that my heart stopped, and
Okay.
I don't know that for certain, and I'm sure he didn't bring anything like that up because why, right?
All right.
But I
Right.
do have memories, clear memories of what, being above,
Mm.
seeing the situation, knowing that she came out blue, and coming out of the anesthesia and saying, why is she blue? Why is she blue? And then all of a sudden, more medicine's coming in me, you know what I mean,
Okay.
as I go
Yeah.
under again. But I remember being up here, floating around, chatting with different beings, angels, spirit guides, and whatnot, and having really interesting. Why would I have those memories? Because I don't know if what it looks like when you're having a C-section. They have a blind up right
Hmm.
here. You're
Yeah, you
stretched
can't see
out
it.
on, and your arms are strapped down. It's like
Okay.
very unnerving when you recognize that's what's happening to you. And it's just a weird experience to go through. My heart goes out to any woman who's had that experience, because it's not the same as a regular birth. You don't get to hold your baby afterwards. That's a trauma moment and all that kind of
Right.
stuff. But
Right.
be that as it may, I mean, I have that clear memory, and it was probably 12 or 13 years later, I was delving into all of this because of that moment of seeing that person holding her, um, and asking more questions about that. He said to me, "Why do you think you have those clear memories? Do you think you might have had a near death experience at that moment?" And I was like, maybe. Mm.
Was that
You know
this
what
was
I
a
mean?
guy? This was a guide that was asking you this, or
No,
the
no, this is a friend of mine who is like
okay,
a teacher for metaphysics.
okay,
And so when he asked that question, I had never contemplated that. No one had ever talked to me about a potential near death experience, but it was around that exact time where I started seeing ghosts hanging out in my house.
mm,
The person who was holding her was my grandfather, who had passed a couple years prior, which I didn't know that at the moment. But when I went back into a meditation to go back to that moment to get more details, no different than if you would go back into a past life or a memory in this current life to get more information, I was able to notice and see that he was standing there, and next to him was my grandmother, who passed a month at the same time, a month
as
apart.
him or as
No, it
they
was
passed close
him.
together.
They
He
passed a month apart in
got
this
it.
current
Okay,
lifetime. And so
but
they're both
a couple years prior to your daughter being born.
2 years prior.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it was not expected and interesting that that all happened. And sorry that I didn't recognize them at the time. I just didn't know that could be a thing. Do you know what I mean?
Did you take up the studies of this stuff shortly thereafter the
I
birth of your daughter? You started
well,
diving in, or was it? I mean, you have a childbirth. Like raising a baby is no mean feat.
no, I mean, it's a
On a good day.
project, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm still recovering, right? Because they cut me laterally. I think
Yeah.
this, instead of horizontally, and
Okay.
so to hurry up and get her out, because it was either that or not
Loser.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been bad. And
Yeah.
so no, this is like 3 months. She's 3 months old at this moment. And I saw someone holding her, and then I did what I think another person would do. I called a psychic, which I had never done
Okay.
before, and I didn't know who else to ask. And there was a
Ah.
psychic here locally on Pittsburgh radio channel that would have call-in time every month. And I would listen to that when I would drive to work and stuff. And I thought, I'll just call the radio station and get his number. And I did. And I had an
Ah.
appointment with him, and he talked to me about a lot of different things. And then all of a sudden he said, um, your newborn, she has a really strong third eye. And if you don't help her, it's not going to be okay. And I'm like,
Oh.
okay, I don't know what all that means.
What's a third eye? Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. I
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
literally had no clue. I had
Right.
no clue.
I only have two.
Right? I mean, no
For-
one ever taught me that. No one ever discussed that kind of stuff, right? We didn't grow
right.
up with that type of thing. And so I delved into all of this work and all the psychic related things. And it was a lot. It was a lot, Matt. It was way
Mm.
over my head. And I didn't comprehend much of it. But when she was about 3.5, I found a book on children's past lives in a metaphysical bookstore. And I'm like, weird stuff, kid stuff, could be good.
Mm.
But
Hmm.
I couldn't put the book down because it was about how you can interact with your own children and they can spontaneously remember a past lifetime. And a lot of kids have clear memories of my other mother. Hey, I used to live there. I used to be your mom, and all that kind of
Mm.
stuff. And I've had people come to me and talk about that. And I'm like, totally normal. I mean, here's why, here's what happened. This is why they're bringing that up. And I can psychically now tune into all that kind of stuff. But I mean, that's 20 years later.
Yeah.
I've been working and practicing, and then I had another near-death experience in a car wreck. It would be 11 years ago. I
That's what you
guess.
said. I mean,
Yeah.
you seem like a really nice person, but I'm two near-death experiences. I don't know if I
Yeah.
want to hang out with you.
Well, so here's the thing, Matt, that I like to tell people. When you have a past life regression experience, and then you get to the death scene and you go
Mm,
out of your body, you see the light. You don't have to go through the trauma of the death, by the way,
mm,
and you go and see the other side. You go into the heaven space. It's kind of no different than having a near death experience. You
I-
understand that whole everything, and you get that recognition, the realization that, oh, I'm a spiritual being having this human existence, and there's so much more, which is
yeah,
kind of what
yeah.
happens when you have a near death.
Yeah, I mean, I've had those via psychedelic medicine, via 5-MeO DMT, which is a medicine that
Okay.
basically mimics death.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm
Which,
at a very cellular level. I know that this whole thing is infinite.
right.
There's no. I never started. I never will never stop. In this body, the body will fall away,
Sure.
and the body's going to want to hang on because it's tied to the personality self and the ego and all of that. But
For sure.
the
But it's
thing that
no,
is me is forever, and the thing that is you,
it's infinite.
yeah,
I mean, we're all connected. We're all one. It's so much more. It's so much more.
yeah,
It's
it's so
hard to
much more.
comprehend when you don't understand or haven't had an experience, whether it's through the medicines that you mentioned, which I'm not familiar with. But I mean, it's whatever avenue that you take to get to that recognition that you're more than just this human is profound, truly.
Profound. Yeah, you can get it through breath work, you can get it through meditation, you can get it through near
Right.
death experience. There's a number of different ways to wake up to
Absolutely.
that. Yeah,
For sure. I
to
mean, there's
that.
so many,
Yeah,
so
and
many
more because
ways.
that's where we're all headed towards, I believe,
I agree
knowing
with
that
that.
we're more than this body.
Well, and if we were born already knowing all this kind of thing, Matt, but we forget about it because we don't have parents who understand or can comprehend, like I love my parents dearly, but when I was a younger child, at like 3 or 4 years old, I was seeing two of my main spirit guides, literally, like I'm looking at you. And they're like, there's no such thing as ghosts. There's no such thing as ghosts.
Sure.
However, if they'd have said to me, oh, well, what do they have to say? Or
Yeah,
did you ask them if they're your spirit guides?
yeah. Do you
And
want to invite him to dinner?
right. Well, yeah, maybe not that, but I mean, true. I mean, they could sit there with you. I could see them
Mm,
literally, just like
mm.
I'm looking at you. And I remember saying to them, I'm not supposed to see you. I'm not supposed to hear you. And then I never saw them again until I started doing past life regression work. But wouldn't it be a different experience if you were able to grow up that way, where
Yeah.
you were learning how to trust your intuition, where I know that I've seen online, I've not personally experienced anyone who does this, but they have kids who have eye masks
Hmm.
on that
Hmm.
completely cover their vision senses. And so then they utilize all their psychic senses and are seeing colors and things and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Is that the woman over in the UK that teaches those classes? Is that who you saw?
I actually
Yeah.
don't. I have seen
Oh,
it a
yeah.
couple different places,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
couple different ways, and a couple different places in the world. So it's
Yeah.
being collectively put out there in the collective consciousness, in a
Right.
sense, from my perspective. And so I'm fascinated with, what would happen if we were able to have the experience from the get-go that all of this was okay,
Yeah,
instead
and I
of
don't know that it's
reclaiming it again.
right. I mean, I think right now it might be an if, but to me, it's a when. It's a when humanity has this experience
I
of
mean, I think it's
themselves, and
happening now.
it's happening. We're in
We're
it.
we're in it.
We're in it. Yeah,
So many people are waking up.
yeah. There's also a course called Vibra Vision. It's fairly expensive, but it's a 1 or 2 week retreat that you go to, and you can, as an adult, you can relearn
Really?
these abilities
Huh.
to like
That's
catch
super
and to drive little go-karts and stuff
kind of like
blindfolded.
what's his name? Oh gosh, almighty. Han
But
Solo with the lightsaber.
yeah, yeah. The force. It's the force,
It's
right?
a
I mean, that's
force.
what
Well, it's
it's
the
the
same.
force.
It's the
Yeah,
same.
it's the same thing. It's all It's chi, it's prana, it's ki, it's the force, it's the energy.
People just use those different words over time in different languages, and that's just how it is
Yeah.
presented to what you're ready to hear and understand.
Right, right, right,
Right?
right. So, and then this takes us to, and then you said, then you had so you said another different NDE with the car,
Yeah, that
right?
was
With,
very different because at that moment I knew I was spinning, and I got the knowing, oh shoot, I'm being in a wreck right now as I'm
uh-huh.
spinning because my car spun completely around the opposite direction. And um at that moment, I remember coming up out of my body, seeing the light above me, which is unusual because unusual for me anyway, because normally if I've experienced going into the light through a past life regression, it's right here on the right.
Okay, to the
And
right.
so, however, it was above me. And then Archangel Jophiel was there because I asked her name, and she's like, reaching through the light, come with me.
Mm.
And so I grabbed her hand, and she took me on a whirlwind tour. It feels like future stuff in my current lifetime, which I haven't had happen yet, but it's okay.
There's still time.
There's hope. And
Yeah.
that's what was about, inspiration.
Okay.
And she talked to me about a lot of really, I guess, higher dimensional level understanding and knowledge. It was almost like I felt like I was in a school, in a sense, getting a massive amount of information all at once. And I didn't even know I was passed out. My friend, I was pulling in to get my hair cut, and my friend owns the shop, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I called 911 because I didn't know what happened. I saw you just laying there like unconscious." And I'm like, "Well, that would have been helpful because they asked me that question 16 times in the hospital. Hey, did you pass out?" I'm like, "I don't know. How would I know?" It's funny.
And so then, as a result, you were already been doing the studies and were you already working as a psychic, as an intuitive,
Well, I was already
or
doing past life regression work, and I was
regression work?
actually practicing doing readings. And I would like anyone who would let me, hey, can I tune
Yeah.
into your spirit guides for you and
Uh-huh,
see what they
uh-huh.
have to say? Can I tune into your past lives or whatever? But after that happened, it was like a game changer. It's like I went from here to here on
Just boom.
yeah, from getting knowledge. I started channeling, which I know you asked as a question, but I've not just done it off the cuff on a live thing, kind of like this
Oh, the channeling.
yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but I was able to really tune in. I did a painting that I have on my website at KarenKubicko.com in case someone wants to go check it out. I mean,
Hmm.
I have a painting that I did not long, I mean, months after that wreck, months after that experience, where I show exactly what I'm looking at whenever I provide a reading. I see the angels, I have them all lined up behind you, the spirit guides over here, and there's 4 different kinds. All your past lifetimes are lined up from most recent to infinite past, and past ever loved ones are over here hanging out. There's
Okay.
way more of that than what I put on that image, but it's what's now being shown to me effortlessly, in a sense, whenever I go to tune in to talk with somebody for a reading, in a sense. So I call it like a whole soul reading because they'll show me
Well,
literally anything you want to know.
yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting when I first started getting into this, and I thought I did a reading with Dr. Therese Rowley, who does like contract
Oh,
clearing out old
nice.
contracts. And so she gave me a couple of the past lives that I had, and I thought, oh, yeah, I've had a handful. And then as I've delved deeper, I mean, we've all been all of it.
Yeah,
There's not, like you've been even young souls, because there's no time. Like it's just
right.
you're, it's on and on and on and on.
It's
And
so much.
so, who comes to you
Which part?
typically? Who for the any part, like for a past life reading, who is a candidate to come? What who?
Oh, the clients.
Yeah, client.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I shifted gears.
No, you're
Um,
good. I wasn't sure who you meant. Like,
yeah,
what do you
like
mean?
who do
My
you work?
spirit guides? Which
Who,
angels?
which,
You know what I mean?
sure.
But so normally, well, I guess I should preempt all of that.
Yeah.
I put a it's not a I want to call it a rule. It's kind of like a rule, I guess. I I say often, I only work with people who are open and ready to receive some type of healing on a deep soul level. I mean, I don't prefer to talk to people who are skeptical because
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to get anything out of my session.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a, like, it doesn't matter what I say to you. You're not going to get any benefit out of it.
Yeah.
But
Because
most of the people,
you got a wall up.
yeah, I mean, even if I said a billion things to you, you'd be like, whatever. And it's a waste of my energy and time. And I don't want to waste my energy and time. I want to work with people who are open to it and
Okay.
want to have some kind of understanding on some deep level. So normally, I have to say 99% of the time, because I don't get that group of people who are asking like, well, how's this work and whatever.
Sure.
They just don't come. It's beautiful because it's beautiful because
Yeah.
now I get to work with people who are super open. Hey, I've had a memory of a past life and I want to expand upon that, or I have a relationship issue that I know has some kind of past life root cause, or I just really want to connect in with my spirit guides, angels. I'm fully aware that they're there, and or something along those lines. I want to understand more about myself. I'm ready to do the healing. I want to understand and learn and grow on some deep level. And the fun people that come to me from my perspective, they've done some of this work on their own, like you, Matt, and or they are interested specifically to go into a past life or be made aware of a past life where they were like super intuitive so that they can bring that information, knowledge, and understanding consciously forward into this current life. And that to me is the best experience ever because now I've just helped that person reclaim that knowledge in a real sense. And now they can consciously have that information at the tip of their fingers in this current life because all of it is about healing our current experience, no matter what comes through, however you get it.
Okay. It's about the way it presents to you. It's about healing in this
Now,
life,
in
healing the
this,
things that we're carrying with us in this
right.
life that are keeping us from our our
Moving forward, our path,
our
whatever.
beauty, our expansiveness,
Loving yourself, all the
loving
stuff.
yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
hmm I mean,
Um,
it's no different than a fear of water or something like that. If that's holding you back from taking an airplane ride, riding on a boat, dipping your toes in the pool or something. I mean, once you clear that root cause out,
mhm.
then you're free. It's
Yeah.
freeing.
And I saw that. I think I saw on your site you've studied EFT,
I
emotional
have in
freedom
the
technique
past.
tapping. Yeah, which I know people have used that very successfully to clear out
Yeah, I mean,
blocks and fears.
it's like muscle testing. You're like tapping certain
Yeah,
areas. I mean, I don't do it usually because anymore. I mean, I did it a long time ago,
you
but I
did
can
it
do that. You know, you have this set of tapping in case someone's not familiar with that, where
right.
you follow through and you talk about what it is that's bothering you. Then you keep expressing until you find on your own, in a sense, sometimes the root cause of what's holding you back or what emotion is stuck in your energy that needs to be released in a sense or let go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So you
it's
so most of your how what would you characterize as most of your work these days? Like hypnosis, regression, intuitive work.
Yeah, I would say it's a split between providing readings on a whole soul level and past life regression work. And I do offer a reading and a past life regression. So we delve in, find out where we need to go and focus. Then they go into a past life regression. It's really a nice experience from my perspective because oftentimes they'll go into that experience and I strive to get them to go into the light so that they can have their otherworldly near death like experience in a sense. And often they get to speak to the spirit guides that I mentioned to them or other spirit guides that I didn't talk with them about. So
Got
it
it.
becomes a beautiful time.
And you learned this, I saw from Dr. Brian Weiss,
I
who's the
did.
Many Lives, Many Masters
Super
author.
cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Florida, right? Florida based,
He's in
Miami.
Florida,
Or,
but he actually taught that class at Omega Institute in New York, which
oh, Megan.
that
Yeah.
yeah, which was
Yeah.
a long time. I mean, I took that class in 2007, and I think this is the first year where he's not teaching that class anymore. How
Okay.
to do past life regression. Yeah.
Yeah, and for those who may not be familiar, he was a psychiatrist, right? Or
He was
straight
a
up
straight up,
medically trained. Yeah,
yeah, in
psych
charge
and
of a division of, I think, the
at a big
university,
hospital.
big hospital in Florida.
Yeah.
And then he had a woman come to him, and she had some issues what he couldn't resolve. He tried hypnosis, and the second time he tried hypnosis with her, he said the words differently. Go back to a time whenever this first started happening, and
Mm.
she went back 5,000 years, and he was like, "Wait, what's this?" He had no
And he
idea
was
past life.
he was a skeptic. Like, he didn't know.
Right, he had no idea. But
Didn't
then
believe. Well, yeah.
he saw how much she healed. So, I mean, she was, if I remember correctly, it's been a minute since I've read that book, but
Mm-hmm.
she was sleeping in the closet, fearful of so much stuff. She couldn't swallow pills or any of that kind of thing. And so this was
Right.
a last-ditch effort to help her. And from the beginning of what she was experiencing till the end. And I think somewhere in there he said he either regressed her 80 times or she remembered 80 past lifetimes. I can't remember the detail for sure. It's something like that, but by the end, she was very awakened, very aware, very confident over all the stuff.
All of it, and healed. I mean,
Right.
Completely transformed.
Correct, without any medication or anything. It was just simple catharsis through the simple act of remembering a past life.
Yeah. That story it reminds me of that. I don't know if you ever saw the Bob Newhart episode where the woman came in with a fear of being locked in a box.
Oh, no.
And it's hysterical. And she's got this deep fear of being locked in a box, and he charges her in 15-minute increments, and she proceeds to talk about this fear of being locked in a box, and she gets all done, and he says, "Okay, are you ready? Are you ready for the solution?" And she says, "Yeah." And he says, "Stop it."
Easier said than done when you have a serious fear, though.
I know.
You know?
It's funny. My coach she sent that to me when I was on about, something. She's like, "Here, go watch this." And sometimes that's really what you need is you just have to come to the realization that you just need to stop it. Like, I have a thing with sugar. I just need to stop eating M&Ms. I don't know about
They're pretty good.
They're pretty good. I don't know if any, past lives are going to help me. They might.
Well,
but
I mean, you got to have some kind of fun joy thing to eat.
It's true. But no, Weiss's book was seminal for me early on. I came across it.
I think it was like the third book that I read when I delved into all the past life related things. I mean, and then I got whatever book you had next, whatever, I got them all. I read them all. And
then you went and you got trained with him, and you said you were regressed.
I got to be on the stage.
You got to be on stage.
I did. It was incredible. At this point, I had already remembered some of my own past lives, and I was working with my girlfriend actually at the time, and I convinced her to help me remember some of this stuff. And I had gone to a past life regression therapist also, and I had remembered some bits and pieces. And then when I got on the stage, he was doing the example of a quick induction, which is he held my head and I had to say my name backwards or something like that. And then all of a sudden he said, "Sleep." And I was like, my eyes are flittering. I was in a deep trance state. And I'm remembering more of my past lifetime where it was, I was in Johnstown, which is in Pennsylvania. And it was my death moment. It was around, the years before that, what I remembered with him on that stage. And I'm describing in detail the room, and I'm using my hands and all that kind of stuff. And I am knocking the microphone out of his hand. And I wish I had more than a flip phone back then, because I had no opportunity to record the session with him. I just feverishly took notes afterwards. But I have clear memory of sitting there, remembering what I remembered with him and talking about it, and then people from the audience asking questions. And the lady I was sitting next to, she's like, "Wow, you even had a little bit of an accent." And I was like, "Really? That's so interesting." So my voice changed a little bit even to kind of match with that experience.
Yeah.
So
I see that. Well,
it's fascinating.
It's fascinating. I mean, Paul Selig, I interviewed him a couple episodes ago, and that's how I found you, because you share a publicist, and yeah, when he's talking, oftentimes, not often, but every once in a while, very heavy, very strong Scottish kind of a brogue will come through. And
Yeah.
yeah, there's definitely, I've seen him enough times in person and online where there's distinct personalities
Okay.
that come through him.
Is that when he's channeling though?
Yeah, when he's channeling.
Interesting.
Yeah, and
That's interesting.
he's shifted from where he originally would whisper the words and then
Okay.
repeat them, which is actually what hooked me on it being legitimate, because I thought, holy crap, how could this guy be, like, first of all, just making all this stuff up, which landed so
Yeah.
deeply, but not
Yeah.
only how could he make it up, but how could he whisper it and repeat sentences? I mean, that was how he channeled 12 books that way.
Wow. So yeah,
And
I
now
mean,
he's clearer and it comes through
just
without
automatically.
automatically. And
Okay.
he said he's now receded. He doesn't pick up as much of it. It's just he's a pipeline. He's a
Sure.
radio.
Like a conduit.
He's a conduit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely have described how I provide a reading. I guess it's kind of like, I don't whisper it, but I hear what they're saying and then I repeat it. I hear what they're saying and then I repeat it. Or they show me something and I describe it as best I
Describe it.
can. Once in a while, they start talking through me directly. I'm like, hey, I didn't give you permission. Because
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, they'll just take, yeah.
they'll
yeah.
just, I mean, I just start talking. I'm like, wait a minute. And I'll shake it off in a sense. Like,
Oh,
I didn't give you
interesting.
permission.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I feel like that has to be set in place, which it feels like Paul has that set in place. He has specific people that he works with and talks to. Where
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he opens every session with the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God
Beautiful.
protects us, the spirit of God watches over us, and then I'm only open and receptive to those energies and that information, which is for my highest good and the perfect amounts needed for my healing and evolution at this time. So he sets a common field. So he's always
Yeah.
working in that same field.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and he's always open into it. I've had similar experiences both on what some people call drugs, other people call medicine, and also during breath work where I've had, and other deep tantric things where I've had beings take my body over. They're healers. They're
Oh, yeah.
It's typically a Native American Lakota
Okay.
energy, and it's just. I mean, I love it. It's a blast. It just takes me over and starts chanting. You'd think we were at a medicine ceremony around a teepee.
Wow. So have you tuned into who they are exactly in the Lakota tribe? Or is it is it part of an experience that you had in a past life that's coming back through consciously if we're having all these lifetimes at once? Because even Bashar, when I heard Daryl Anka talk about Bashar, it's his future self channeling through him. So if we're having
Correct, right.
all these lifetimes together, how connected are we to all of that? So it's like, which is why I said that to you.
Yeah.
Have you asked who that Lakota person is? It feels
asked
connected.
Yeah, it's the same being. The same being, the same energy has come into me numerous times, and I've also had some others come in during a deep ceremony in Mexico. Other what felt like healers from the African tribe. Somebody told me, and
Okay.
so my friend Laura said that that this particular one, it first came during a 5-MeO experience, and it was very light. I just began chanting, but very beautifully. I hadn't typically had any kind of a singing voice. And the people who were sitting with me after I did this for about 10 minutes, when I finished, they looked at me and they said, "Whoa, that was cool."
Yeah.
And then I was in a group journey with medicine, and it literally just took over my entire body. And I was fine. It didn't bother me. And I was present to what was going on, but I was not doing it. But I was full on chanting. So my friend Laura, who's a channel, has said, they told me that it was the Lakota being that resonated. But I don't know. I mean, maybe you can tell me, is it a future version, a past version?
Well, I was getting that information when you were talking. So, I mean, I feel like it's connected to you in that deeper kind of way, Matt. Like, I mean, I don't know how many past lives you've remembered or if you've had a past life reading in a sense. But it definitely feels like you are channeling you, no different than Daryl is channeling Bashar.
Daryl.
It
Okay.
feels the same to me.
Feels like the same.
It feels the same. Like if I'm muscle testing, this is my yes, this is my
Yeah.
no. And I got
Yeah.
yes, it's him, yes, from a
Yeah.
past, it feels like a past lifetime where you were
Okay.
very connected to the earth,
Yeah. I
the
feel that right now.
everything.
I feel that very strongly. I get the
Yeah.
energy of that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very,
So
very plugged in.
you could tap into that. It almost feels like an inner knowing, inner knowledge, and speak from that space, from that
Mm,
place
from
of
that place.
understanding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. When I started doing the medicine work 8 years ago was when I suddenly Native American music, like Robbie Robertson does a lot of stuff where he kind of mixes a little bit of rock with the native things. And that stuff resonated with me on these
oh,
journeys very, very strongly. Even to the point, and I think it's probably just all of our connection to the indigenous. But last year, I had an experience when the Maori woman down in New Zealand in Parliament was tearing up this treaty that they were trying to force down their throats. And she started doing the haka, which is, the Maori dance where it's
oh,
very embodied. They stomp their feet. And it's
oh my, oh
it's a crazy
my.
dance.
Okay.
And I just started crying when I watched this thing.
Oh,
And then my liver started vibrating.
wow.
So I don't know about you, but I've never been able to make my liver vibrate.
Yeah, I don't think that's a common trait and, and consciously doing that.
And I
But
just felt this lineage. I just felt this connection to their pain
oh yeah.
at a very visceral level.
Well, I guess it feels like too a connection where there's like that crowd mentality, or that if there's uh I mean, I guess you could look at it two different ways. There's a tragedy and everybody comes together and feels that, oh no, or there's an excitement like you're in a stadium
Right.
and
The
they
group
made a
energy.
score and everybody's like, ah, you're feeling that on that deep level. But it's also the experience that you're talking about. The way that I'm seeing it intuitively is it's almost like a direct connection, like you were feeling her in a embodiment kind of way, very viscerally. It
Yeah.
feels very visceral.
That was how it was. That's how it showed
Wow.
up. Yeah. And I think it
Yeah.
just, I mean, I don't think I'm not, I know I'm not special in any way in that regard. It's just that we're all
That
connected.
empath. Yeah, that empath connection, where
Yeah.
that's a feeling psychic sense, where you're directly connecting with somebody on such an emotional way or physical way. You were
Hmm.
feeling what she was going through.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like if like I was working with somebody yesterday and they were having a sinus issue, and then all of a sudden I started feeling my sinuses hurt, and I'm like, that's not mine. But
Right.
thanks for the awareness. I don't want to have that.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it comes through sometimes. You pick it up, you don't realize it's happening, but it definitely occurs. And I mean, I definitely have talked to people who didn't even realize they had a strong empath feeling sense, and they're picking up stuff like you're talking about. But it's affecting you for a reason. It brought to your
Hmm.
attention for a reason. And so really it was I guess it's more of a confirmation that you can really tap into another human in that way, and it's a confirmation that we're all connected. Like
Yeah.
I was talking with somebody the other day, and she's like, I was just watching a random program, and it was like live. I think it was the news actually, and she's like, I could smell what was happening,
Hmm.
and I'm
Hmm.
like, why do you think that is? I mean, because like
Yeah.
you're intuitively picking up, and that's another psychic ability to smell. And you're picking it up, even though it's not happening right there in your living room, what was happening to them. And
Yeah. And
it's
we
like you
all,
got transported there and you're feeling it, literally
yeah. And
smelling it.
we all have these capabilities. It's a matter of opening to them. And so I'm making up that your work is in essentially assisting people in this opening.
Well, right. And I do teach classes to help people have intuitive abilities reclaimed in a sense. And
Mm.
it's truly about trusting it. Like each time that I do a past life regression, and I started making this a rule for myself, every single time, I don't care if you watched my YouTube videos about how to prepare for a past life or not, we're going to talk about it. And the very most important thing is to trust your intuition.
Mm.
And not only does that help you in life in general, but it'll help you have a better experience because you're trusting that you're getting that vision, or you're trusting that you're hearing those words, even though it might sound like your own inner voice. You're trusting that you might smell something in your experience. No different than I just gave you that experience that she's just watching the news and
Right.
she could smell smoke or whatever was happening in real life at that moment. I mean,
And
there's
what do
lots
you,
of ways.
sure. And what do you say to, what do you say to people around the discernment? Like which voice are you listening to? How do you know which voice you're listening to? Are you listening to the ego voice, or are you listening to
Oh
the
gosh.
true self voice?
So I'm going to respond to that with what my spirit guide said to me one time when I first started learning how to do meditation years and years ago. I was doing a 21-day challenge, and every day, 15 minutes, you listen to this guided meditation and a little bit of background understanding. And I was getting frustrated because I'm trying to like shut everything off. And I'm worrying
Mm-hmm.
about what's the kids doing? Do I really have 15 minutes to do that? I got to do the laundry and all the other stuff that's going on as a mom at that time. And my spirit guide said, what if everything that came in your mind was a message? What if?
Mm,
And so then at that moment, everything went silent. This is for me.
mm-hmm.
Everything went silent. And I started paying attention to a local grocery store's radio ad that wouldn't stop playing in my head, like on repeat. You know how you get a song in your head, you can't get it
Yeah,
out?
yeah,
The
yeah.
jingle was in my head. I'm like, fine, what's that about? So I paid attention actually. And I'm like, oh, if that's a message, isn't that interesting? And so then every time that I heard anything in my mind, it's a message. Like, hey, don't forget about the laundry. That's a message,
Mm-hmm.
right? Hey, don't forget to get ketchup or whatever. That's a message, or go check on the kids. That's a message, right?
Right.
So, when you are doing a past life regression, anything that comes in your mind is a message. Now, if you're thinking about your laundry list of things you need to do later, maybe not. And
Yeah.
so, if you have that come into your awareness, um, if you're watching, I have an online course and I tell people if that does come to mind, get a piece of paper and a pen down and write it all down. So then you know when you come out of this meditation, it's all there for you. You're not going to forget about it, so that
Right.
you can
Right.
be
Right.
open to just relaxing and having the
Yeah.
experience.
So
You
you're not
know,
just cycling on the. I got to
right,
pick up the dry cleaning. I got to get the groceries. I got to buy the
right.
concert tickets. Yeah.
Right. So it's almost like you get that out of your buffer in a sense of on repeats because your brain is there to help you, remind you. And in a sense, your brain is there to do that, to remind you about these things. But if you just allow whatever comes to mind, however you're receiving it. So if you're feeling that vibration in your liver, that is a message of some kind. What are you feeling there? Why is that happening? Or if that maybe it just might be you becoming aware of your feeling the experience that she's going through at that moment in that time, where some people literally feel everything that's happening when they remember a past life. I'll use that as an example, but it's no different than when you're walking through your day. You might feel someone driving past you in the car, they're laughing their head off, and you might feel like, oh my gosh, why do I feel like I have to laugh? And you
Right.
look over and they're laughing because you're picking up that energy of that experience in a feeling sense.
We're all swimming. We're all swimming in each other's. There is no other. We're all.
Right. In this goo of energy
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
picking up as we float around. That's a great
Yeah.
analogy. Wow, Matt, I like it.
You
I
like
might
that?
use that.
Okay. You can.
Yeah, thanks. But I mean, it's fun, right? Because and when you start to make sense of everything around you, and you start to really trust, okay, this isn't always just coming from inside of me. I might be getting it from the guy driving past, having a joke happen or something. You
Right.
know what I mean? Or whatever.
Yeah. I was having a conversation with a woman a couple of years ago on the phone, and when I was doing some coaching work, and she was describing a lot of anxiety that she was going through. And I was drinking decaf at the time, and it was in the morning. And when I was done with the conversation, and I was fine, I felt fine, right? But I was done with the conversation, and I was all sweaty. I was all like,
Oh
I was
my.
anxious. And
You
when
picked
I
up all
talked
her
to,
stuff.
yeah, I picked up all her stuff without realizing. But we don't have to, is what I'm told. We don't have to.
We
We can.
don't.
We can.
Well,
And how do you describe to people to not to
so there's two things that, especially if you have a really strong empath feeling sense, the two things that I talk to people about is one, I try to teach them how to do that muscle testing that like I
Mhm,
talk to people about, think of yourself like a pendulum
mhm.
or like a magnet. If this is a yes, you're leaning towards it, like a magnet will come together, or if it's a no, you might repel away. But for me, I chose this as my no. So you kind of calibrate yourself.
To your left, you lean to your
Yeah,
left.
this is my no, this is my yes. Or like if I'm standing in the grocery store, do I need eggs? Do I need milk?
Uh-huh,
All that kind
uh-huh.
of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not making these big grand movements, but like I definitely feel a little pressure in that direction. So it's I tell people to trust their intuition in that kind of way, like you're trusting that muscle test, that pendulum aspect in a sense of you. But before you do any of that, I tell people to do what I described to you. I don't think that we did that in our conversation, but that feeling, that flow of chakra energy that flows through you, up through your crown chakra, connecting to source. It's pure unconditional love, and that intuitive energy flowing back down through you, down through the dimensions below, grounding you in this earth. You're connecting to your whole higher self, your whole soul, your subconscious, which then connects you to higher knowledge and understanding. So,
Yeah.
with setting your human opinion aside, then you can get real information. And it's not kind of um,
Unbiased, would you say?
yeah,
It's
unbiased. Great. I was looking for the
unfiltered.
right,
Yeah.
unfiltered, perfect
Right.
word.
Right.
I was
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
think of the
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
word for that.
Sure.
And so then when you set your ego part of you aside, then you can get that straight information. And then you can be like, is that shivering that I felt on my liver mine? And you get a no. And you're like,
Mm.
okay. So
Hmm.
then you're getting that information, you're understanding it's not mine. And so
Don't need to go to the doctor.
right, exactly.
The
Good
liver's
point.
fine.
Good point. Right, good point. But then the next thing my spirit guides explain to me to help people understand, sometimes when people pick up that kind of thing in a emotional or feeling sense kind of way, empathic way, you pick up somebody else's emotions, whether they're angry, scared, or having a bad day, or even get their headache or the sinus thing that I mentioned, or
Hmm.
whatever, and you recognize it's not yours, the next step is, okay, now you can release it. So it's almost like you visualize or feel that energy being poured out of you into the ground outside so it can be transmuted back into positive, which is something that I was kind of taught when I did that, the tapping
The
EFT.
tapping. Okay.
Because they
Ascend
taught
it.
the person who taught
Release it.
Right. The person who taught me that's what you do. And that's kind of like a forgiveness type of thing and a release type of thing, or a letting go, however you want to use those words. But my spirit guides, I ask them, well, why do people pick it up? Because sometimes when people come to me and they're very empathic, I feel bad, man, because some of these guys and gals, they're afraid to go out of their house. They don't want to go to crowds. They don't go to concerts. They don't go to big stores that are busy. They go at night. They go when there's not a lot of people because they don't want to be bombarded with other
Right.
people's stuff. And so I asked, why does that happen? And they said, well, the reason that maybe you would pick up that energy or I would pick up that energy, if it's definitely the laughing of someone driving past was not detrimental. That was to raise my own spirit, right?
Sure.
But to because that person had no understanding or comprehension that they could channel that energy out of them and release it in some kind of way or let go of it so that it's no longer affecting them. And it's almost like you became um, a a conduit in a sense, since we use that word, or a transmission of, okay, I'm going to become aware of it. Thank you very much for bringing that to my attention, and let go of it,
And I
because
let
it's
it go.
not, yeah, they don't know how to do the transmutation of the energy. And so you're here to acknowledge it and to let it go on their behalf in a sense, which
Mm,
is
mm.
part of why
Like
that
a
is brought to someone's awareness as an empath.
like a surrogate or a
Yeah,
proxy. A proxy. Yeah.
right, exactly. And then I teach them to think about your feeling sense energy as feelers. And the way that I visual, because I'm very visual, Matt, the way I see it visually, it's almost like there's tentacles stretched on all sides of you. And I have them think about that energy much like fire or a flame on a stovetop, where you have a dial or a knob.
Okay.
On a stove, that flame will cook, will boil the water and do all this thing if it's on super high or turned down low. It might take a little longer, whatever, but it's still just as hot and will burn and cook the same. So your energy, your feeling sense energy, is stretched on all sides. You can dial it in a sense, and practice doing that so that you can be very consciously aware of your own feeling sense empathic energy. And then it's almost like on your command, in a sense, on your conscious awareness, send that energy out to somebody to check on them. Maybe you want to tune into 2 different stores, which one has the better deal for me on this shirt I want to get, and see which one feels better. Then you're on purpose using your energy versus it going around willy-nilly. And I ask, and I feel like this might be relevant for some of our listeners, Matt, why does this get put in place that way, where you're not feeling like you're in charge of, especially with some of the people that have come to me, your feeling sense energies, where it's all spread in all directions. And when I've tuned into that over time, it seems like it often occurs, not all the time, but often occurs because as a child, you have put these feelers out in all directions because maybe you had a parent or someone that was in your awareness that was maybe in not a great mood all the time, and you wanted
Not safe. You didn't feel safe.
You didn't feel
safe
safe
as a child.
Correct. And so
some kind of abuse.
Correct. And you had those feelers put out on all directions. So the moment they walked in the door, down the driveway, whatever the case may be, you're aware of their mood and you're ready.
Yep. Yeah, that's how I grew up.
And you forgot to turn it down.
Right.
Or
hyper vigilance.
Correct. You're on alert 100% of the time. And it could be connected to fight or flight as well. I mean, that sometimes is part of the issue, where you're on alert, and you have the fillers set out, making sure I'm safe. So sometimes that happens at the same time.
And so that's causing you to feel other people's energy that you don't need to be feeling.
And you don't even realize you kept it turned on that way.
Right.
As an adult. Right. And then you're overwhelmed, overstimulated, all the stuff. And
so you're giving people tools between the hypnosis, whether you the EFT, the Reiki, the regression, to turn this stuff, turn the radio down, basically.
Correct. I mean, I sometimes, instead of doing a reading straight away, I am teaching people how to manage their own psychic abilities and understand what's really coming through for them, and that they're completely normal and it's okay, and how to utilize that skill in a positive way versus an overwhelming way.
Right, because really. All this, we do all this seeking. I'm guilty of seeking, and the answer that you eventually get is that the answer is within, right? And so you're helping people to access the answer that's within,
right? And
the abilities that are within.
Well, because if I can help you understand why you put that in place, that's a healing moment. If I can help you understand how to utilize it in a more conscious way, that's helping you use your own intuition. Then you can use it all the time. You can look at a menu and be like, okay, what's best for my body at this moment? And be like, okay, I'm feeling into this. And that's best for your body this moment, whether it's M&Ms or not. Do you know what I mean?
It's usually M&Ms, Karen.
I mean, I had to bring it up again because it's fun.
It's usually M&Ms. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's more important for me to help people understand more about their own abilities in any kind of way. And, sure, past life regression is super cool, but if you don't understand how to trust your own intuition, you might not have an experience because, I usually use the example of a horse and wagon of hay, because the first person that I regressed was my girlfriend. And she's like, I don't know. I don't think I got anything. I thought I saw a horse and buggy. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no horse and buggy in my living room, you know?
Uh,
So I use that as an example because it's often seen in a past life,
yeah.
because it's a long time ago usually. And unless you're a younger person, then you're like remembering things from the 70s and 80s. And I'm like, oh man, I feel old.
Yeah.
But
You and
it's,
me both. Yeah.
I know. And
Right.
so it's like, oh my gosh. But um, so it's all good. So I use that as an example because if she'd have trusted her own intuition and she was like, oh no, I see a horse and buggy. And so the next time we went into a past life regression experience for her, she saw the horse and buggy again, and then she saw the tree, she saw this guy she was in love with, all the stuff. I mean, it
Okay.
was a great experience for her. But
She was
so
able to use that. She was able to use
right.
to trust the initial image, the initial.
Correct. Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to trust anything that comes to you. And
Hmm.
so when I'm teaching that to help somebody remember a past life, I'm teaching it also from the perspective of at any moment in your current life through your waking day. You know what I mean? Where you're getting information, where all of a sudden you feel like you're going to cry or laugh or be angry, and you're like, wait a minute, is that mine? Or is that
Hmm.
somebody else's? Is it the person driving past? Sometimes it is. You know what I mean?
Sometimes it's not. Yeah, not
Right,
yours. Yeah,
right,
because we're
exactly.
swimming in it. So, what are some of the what are some of the outcomes? Some of the like amazing outcomes that you've seen, if you can talk about any of your
From client
for people or
perspective,
clients. Yeah, yeah.
um,
What kind of things do people overcome or move through in a typical like what would they come to you with, like anxiety?
sure.
Um,
I mean, I've talked to so many people. I'm trying to ask my guides, what should we talk about for this specific moment,
mhm.
for this program? Um,
I mean, without naming names, we don't have
No,
to.
no, no, I would
Yeah,
never. Nor would
yeah,
I
right,
remember, honestly.
right.
I have met so many. I've met so many people, man. I feel bad.
Yeah,
And
thousands.
and so through classes and everything else, um, I have I had this woman come to me one time. This is a complete embarrassment, actually. I said, "Hi, how you doing?" And I start going through my spiel. She's like, "This is the third time I've come to you," and I'm like, "Oh man." I'm so sorry. I mean, because I mean, she probably came to a fair or something that I was at, and
Uh-huh.
I mean, I am in a solid trance the whole time. Information, information, next, next, next,
Okay.
and so it's, the humanness kind of fades away. So let me ask my guides because they're my team of helpers on the other side, and I trust in them immensely. What I should share that would be very helpful to the people who are tuning in. So they're asking me to share a moment where this woman came to me. She had she had had enough in this life. She was on the verge of being suicidal, and she had been in nonstop abuse, a situation, abuse situation, abuse situation. And so I we did not do a past life straight away. We did a reading first, and the my guides were showing her root cause. Well, here's why you're stuck in this abuse situation pattern. You've had it in other lifetimes, and they gave me a couple examples, and I just saw like the just color drain out of her face, and I'm like, guides, this isn't helping her. What else can we do? And I'm talking to her guides now, not
Hmm.
mine.
Hmm. Hmm.
And they're like, okay, but she needed to understand where this is the cause is coming from. And so I often describe people why I call it a root cause. The visual for me is think about a weed that you just isn't growing the flowers around it. You're pulling it out by the very roots so that you can succeed and grow in some deeper way. And so then they
Like, yeah,
showed
that
me,
it's like that dandelion. You pull it off. You think you
right,
got it, but you didn't get it. The roots are still there. It just
right.
keeps regerminating.
And it's, I think they're cute though. I don't call them a weed. But
Yeah, no judgment.
that okay, good. And I've
Yeah,
met people who super don't like them, and I'm like, yeah, but people make them into tea. I mean, it's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah. Well, it's the
So
classical
it's all good, but
American. Yeah.
I know. But it's the next thing that they showed me was a very, very loving lifetime that she had experienced, and that gave her the healing that she was looking for because it gave her hope
Mm.
and helped her really immerse in that. And then I have regressed people, same thing. Instead of going through the reading part, they show that person a root cause. This is why you've gotten into that abuse pattern. And sometimes it's where you were like maybe a slave situation. And they show me an awful lot of slave situations in Roman times. Oh my gosh, Matt. I mean, we're not even talking about here in the United States. We're talking long time ago, thousands of years ago. And parents are selling their kids. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, that kind of stuff happened, and more than people realize. And
Yeah, life was nasty, brutish, and short.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But so that is often a root cause, honestly, of abuse and being withheld in some kind of way, other types of patterns and things. But then they'll show that person a very, very loving lifetime where they were so enthralled. That person just adored them immensely. The one that's coming to mind most recently, a woman, I took her to the same type of situation, not so great relationships in this current lifetime, went to a root cause, and then I asked her guides to show her a very loving lifetime. And so they took her to an experience. She's blubbering, tears are running down her face. Her parents had just had her in a past lifetime, and she could just feel the love. She was in this beautiful experience. The parents were super excited to have her, and she was just overwhelmed with that unconditional love that she was being shown at that moment. And that's what she brought forward into this current life. So when you remember a lifetime where you've had a beautiful, loving experience, and you might not have had an experience like that in this current knowledge base lifetime, then now you have a frame of reference to know what that should feel like, how that should look in a sense, and what happens when it's a detrimental, how to maybe avoid that in the future, because you've cleared that with catharsis or forgiveness from that past lifetime where the root cause is stuck in a sense.
Yeah. Amazing. So it's another way of it's a form of embodiment. It's a way of having an embodied experience of something positive, of love, and care, and there's
if you've not had that, Matt, I mean, there's no way to there's no example. Maybe you've never even met somebody that's had a loving relationship. So how do you know what that looks like? Right, in this life.
Because we've all had them at some point. We've been all of it. We've gone through all of it. We tend to get hung up on the negative. We tend to get stuck. But then you see people who, they're doing great in life. Everything's rolling along and doing beautifully, and then they're in. I have a friend who's a coach, and she's like, "Oh, this is my reward life."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have actually regressed people to a time or I've seen it in a reading where they are being shown, well, that was their taking a break life. And it was easy. They didn't have to learn too many hard things to overcome. They might have had not an easy ending, but maybe they chose that, so it was quick in a sense. I definitely have seen that happen.
Sign me up for that, the quick.
So quick and easy.
I'll go for the quick. I don't want the long drawn out. I'm not.
No, I don't think anybody does. But I mean, the more that we become awakened and aware, Matt, it's my understanding that we can evolve to that experience where we are able to consciously transition when we're ready. Because we knew that we've done enough. We can have our friends and family around us, and sort of like embrace the transition versus
the graduation. It's the ultimate graduation
versus a trauma transition. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a different experience for sure.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. Amazing. No, it's fascinating for sure. I love every second of it because I never know what's going to come up for somebody. Everybody's so different.
So different. Yeah, so different. So you said your website is Karen Kubicko, right?
.com.
.com, KarenKubicko.com, and the information will be.
I got so many links on there.
Links, yeah, we'll have all kinds of links in below if you want to.
Thank you.
Connect with Karen, and it's been an amazing chat. Loved it.
Yeah.
I love
Thank
this stuff. I
you.
can talk about it all day.
I could too. It's really so much fun because it's I could talk. I don't even know how to stop. I love talking about it, honestly.
Yeah, it's great.
Because
It's
if I'm
great.
helping you, then I'm helping others, and that's the point, right?
And
That's
you're
my
helping me, and
mission,
yeah.
truly.
Everybody, people are waking up. It's definitely a major time of change. It looks
They are.
chaotic. Stay the course. Keep going.
Yeah. Keep
That's
focusing
my
on the
message.
positive, Matt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that you are the manifester of your reality. What are you choosing to give your energy to?
Constantly, every second. What does Bashar
Every
say? Billions of times per second.
correct.
We're choosing from timelines. It's fascinating.
We are.
Yeah.
And I love that he describes it like that.
Yeah.
I love that.
We're constantly choosing, and
Constantly.
life is not happening to you. You are making it happen.
Well, and I have to explain this to you because I don't know if Bashar said this or I saw this in a vision personally. I feel like he alluded to this. I don't remember how I got this information, but I'm going to share it anyways. If like you talk to some, and I guess this is for maybe you or someone's listening because of our discussion right now. I mean, sometimes it's hard to focus on the positive and to stay in that higher vibrational state, right?
Yeah.
And once in a while, you'll have like a friend or a family or a passerby just kind of like show you the garbage going on in the world today.
Yep.
And it's your choice to go back into that other timeline or to stay in this higher vibration. Are you sure you want to go down there? It's almost like you're being reminded this is where it could be.
You're going to get the option.
It's still there for you if you want, but you could choose not to and stay in this higher vibrational positive aspect vibration in a sense, or it's a choice.
Yeah.
It's all
It's a choice.
It's all a choice. This whole life is a choice. We chose to come here. It's a choice.
I was speaking with somebody at the workshop I did 2 weeks ago, and he'd had a very powerful medicine experience. And I asked him what because he had a challenging time with it, but I said, what was the ultimate outcome? And he said, I now can see the space. There's the space between the action and the reaction.
Interesting.
He said, I can see it's very present now.
Oh, wow.
That because we don't often think that we have a choice in how we respond to things, and we always do. And I'm not saying I'm some enlightened master that knows, but there's
we're all learning.
But he said I can see that there's that space, and I can choose how I'm going to respond to this because stuff's always happening, going to keep happening,
right? And it's not instant manifestation, like. Right. It's so there's
a little pause.
Feels like that's the space that you're talking about.
Yeah, there's a little delay. I think there's a book, Tufty the Priestess, and the author talks about life being a film strip, and we are hung up with changing the frame that's currently playing. But in fact, we have to change the frame that's coming. We're the director, and we want to change the frame that's coming, not the one that's playing right now.
That's so interesting.
It's already on the screen.
Right. It's no different than people using the dial to tune in on the radio, which I don't necessarily know that too many younger people would understand what that means because they just push the button. But
just push play on
it just goes to the next thing that's tuned in. But you could fine tune at some point that teeny little, I guess, tenth of a station.
The signal.
I mean, you can fine tune. If you start going on a downward spiral, you can fine tune it back up again. Wait a minute, that's not my experience. That's their experience. And I'm not going to that experience. I'm staying in this experience. When I look outside, it's beautiful.
Yeah. It's a bit of work, but it
is. It's a mindset, right?
Yeah, it's a mindset, and it's a consciousness level. It's an awareness.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh,
so keep positive, Matt.
Yeah.
You're doing great work having this show, doing your thing, being creative.
Thank you. Being creative, yeah. Getting this out there for people. I got a lot of benefit from this stuff in my life, and so I'm, want others too as well.
Yeah. Hopefully. That's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Likewise, Karen. Thanks so much for your time and for being here, and we'll see you again.
All right. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate you having me on.
All right. Peace.